All right, we're going to talk about the verb ir, and this goes along with what you need to do for the Unit 2 discussion at the very beginning of the unit. I'm going to have, if you've already done it, I need you to redo it and follow these guidelines, okay? So we're going to first talk about the verb ir, which means to go. So I can change my page. So something that you need to know with the verb ir, you can use it to say I'm going somewhere, we're going somewhere, but you can also use it to imply the future. Okay, so I'm going, next summer I'm going to Europe. Next summer I'm going to work. In 10 years I'm going to be a doctor. Okay, so something that you need to know about Spanish just in general is every verb starts out as an infinitive. Okay, and what an infinitive is, it's a verb that ends in AR, ER, or IR in Spanish. All the verbs end in either one of these, AR, ER, IR, and it means to plus the meaning of the verb. So ir means to go. And then we have to conjugate the verb, right? You can't just say yo ir, because then that would mean I to go. So now you need to conjugate the verb, so you're saying I'm going, you're going, etc. So this is the chart that I always use. There's 6 conjugations in Spanish. In English, there's usually only 2, go and goes. But in Spanish, there are 6. The first box is dedicated always to yo. This is how we're going to conjugate the verb, the infinitive ir, to then say I'm going instead of to go. Okay. The second box is the to form, you, familiar. This third box has 3 different people that you can for 3 different people that you can conjugate for. Él, ella, or usted. He, she, or you formal. It's also the conjugation for it. Okay, so if you want to say it is going. This conjugation, when we get to it, is going to be nosotros, which is we. Vosotros, which is you, all plural. They only use in Spain, though. So I don't really emphasize that because a small percentage, only a small percentage uses that. And then ellos, ellas, ustedes, which is they and you all. Ustedes means the same thing as vosotros, but the rest of the world uses this way to say you all. Now to conjugate the verb in the yo form to say I'm going, you would say voy. The to form is vas. Él is va, ella is va, usted va. Nosotros vamos, vosotros, only used in Spain, vais. Ellos van, ellas van, ustedes van. Okay? So if you need to study these pronouns, make sure you have that down because that is a review. That's not the lesson today. You should already know those pronouns. And how to conjugate this verb ir. All right, so now we're going to look at how to use ir to imply the future, to say something like I am going to study, I am going to work, I am going to visit. This is like the formula, okay? If you're a math person, maybe this will make you like that there's a formula. So you have the verb ir, you have the word a, and an infinitive, okay? So this infinitive is a verb that's not conjugated. It's a verb that ends in AR, ER, IR. So we're going to take that verb ir, and we first need to conjugate this verb. Who are we talking about? Who is going to do something? Okay, so you'd say voy a, vas a. So an example is voy a estudiar, which would mean I'm going to study. And notice that estudiar is in the infinitive. It ends in AR. Vas a trabajar. You're going to work. And notice that trabajar is in the infinitive. This verb is conjugated. So usually that's how it always is. The first verb is conjugated. If you have 2 verbs in Spanish, 2 or more, the first verb is conjugated. The second verb is not. The second verb is in the infinitive. Some other examples, va a aprender, vamos a comer, van a volver. Okay, so notice all of those second verbs are the infinitive. They're in the AR, ER, or IR, even though I don't have an example of an IR verb. Okay, so now we're talking about weather, which is also something that you just did, something that you're still doing. The question is just to say, what's the weather like? One way to say it is ¿Qué tiempo hace? Okay, and we're going to look at 2 verbs that we use a lot to talk about weather. One of them is hace, okay, and that's in the question. ¿Qué tiempo hace? You could say hace sol, hace calor, hace frío, hace buen tiempo, hace mal tiempo, hace fresco, hace viento. Okay? And the verb is hace. Or sometimes you have the verb está. If you have phrases like está lloviendo, está nevando, está lloviznando. Okay? And those, if you're not sure what these words mean, you can look them up. But hace would go with these verbs. Está can go with some of these phrases too. I said verbs, but hace can go with these phrases. Está goes with these phrases. Okay, está can also go with these phrases, some of them. Okay, but now what we want to do, because for this activity, the discussion, it's going to ask you to say what the weather is going to be like. So we're going to use the verb ir to say it's going to be, and then the second verb needs to be in the infinitive. So we're going to put what the weather is like in the infinitive, the second verb in the infinitive. So hace, the infinitive is hacer. Está, the infinitive is estar. Okay, so here we're back with the verb ir. So what we want to say is, it is going to be raining, or it is going to be sunny. Okay? The only conjugation that we would use if we're saying it is would be va. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of all the other ones. Oh, sorry. And then I guess I wanted to emphasize that you also have to use a after it, right? I'm going to get rid of all the other ones. So now we're just saying it's going. It's going. Okay, so here's our phrases again for weather. So if I wanted to say it's going to be sunny, I would say va a ser sol, right? I have to use the infinitive. If it's going to be cold, va a ser frío. Okay, so here's some other examples. Va a ser, well, that same example, va a ser frío. So notice that this verb is in the infinitive. Va a ser buen tiempo. This verb is in the infinitive. And then let's look at está. Está lloviendo, está nevando. The infinitive is estar. So if we want to make a sentence, va a estar lloviendo. It is going to be raining. So instead of just saying it's raining, now you're saying it's going to be raining. Va a estar nevando. Okay, so for your assignment, you're visiting Madrid, España during a season of your choice. Describe what the weather will be like when you're there. So let me know what time you're going to Madrid, what time of year, and what you're going to do. Now, I've cut this down really short, so you need to only include 3 descriptions of weather and 3 activities. Okay, so you can use this example, use these phrases to say what the weather's going to be like, what it's going to be like, and then 3 activities that you're going to do. So then I would use the yo form, right? Yo voy a, 3 things you're going to do. Voy a tomar el sol. Voy a visitar el museo. Voy a comer buena comida. Voy a conocer a mucha gente. Okay, and that second verb is in the infinitive. And the first verb would be the conjugation of ir a.